Welcome again to the Teach Yourself Bridge series, and we trust you made good use of the initial tape and had lots of fun. Assuming you have been able to get in practice with your friends, you should have gained in experience. As we said before, whilst you need basic information on École, it is only by playing at the table that you will really gain experience. Doubtless you consider you have on numerous occasions finished in the wrong contracts, and that is good. Since if you are now able to appreciate you should have been in a different contract, or when playing you should have been able to take extra tricks, you must be improving. As you now have this second tape, we assume you must be enjoying this intriguing game of bridge, where every deal brings you a new challenge. We are quite sure that during your bridge sessions, you or your partner have had what you called a special hand, and on occasions have said, "I don't know what to play." Don't worry about this. It happens to all of us at times, and normally takes a little longer and more logical thinking to resolve the situation. You will often be dealt hands with surprises, but we assure you that in time with the École system, you will be able to manage them, and we hope that we will be able to help you speed up the process. This second MyLogic tape covers École Strong 2 openings, which means you open with bids at the 2 level in a suit, are forcing. Even with the weakest possible hand, no points at all. Responder has to bid. The École system demanding a rejection bid, and here the convention is to deny with a bid of 2 no trumps. We are going to cover the openings of 2 diamonds, 2 hearts and 2 spades in some detail. You will note we have not included 2 clubs in this particular statement. Whilst 2 diamonds, 2 hearts and 2 spades are used for hands of real strength, the École 2 club opening is reserved for the powerhouse hand, which requires little from partner to reach game, and is often the platform for reaching slam contracts. Let us start the École Strong 2 opening with this example. You are South, the dealer. 20 high card points and 2 extra for distribution. Having 6 hearts, the École system recommends you open 2 hearts. Why? Why is a question you should always be asking yourself in bridge. Why, when your partner opens, you have to start to think, why did he open 2 hearts? Why not 1 heart? Why not 3 hearts? Or why not 1 no trump? The reason to open 2 hearts with this hand is that with these cards you want to give special information. Let us assume you bid 1 heart. West to your left passes. Your partner, north, with only 5 point, also passes. But he happens to have, say, 3 cards in your heart suit. If east now also passes, you will be left in the low contract of 1 heart, when your own hand, with hearts as trumps, is likely to take 8 tricks, and with really favourable card distribution may take 9 or even 10, enough for a game contract. You may feel that a simple solution would therefore be to open 3 or 4 hearts in the first place. Why not? Well, to start with, École thinks of everything and reserves opening at the 3 or 4 level for special weak hands, which is hardly the case here. The other important reason for not opening at the 4 level in any event is to consider what would happen if your partner didn't have any points and maybe a void or only a singleton in hearts. By bidding 2 hearts, South is saying, "Partner, I have more than 19 points, since with less I would have opened, 1 heart only showing 13 to 19. Of course, having 20 plus points more than half the high card points available, it is only reasonable to assume that you should expect to take more than half the 13 tricks. And Akol take this into account. The Akol Strong 2 opening bid also announces to partner that you feel the hand, allowing that any outstanding cards are reasonably distributed between the other 3 players, is capable of taking 8 tricks by itself in the trump suit mentioned. So, on Strong 2 openings, partner must respond at least once. The reason is that the bid will on occasions be made on a 2-suited hand, and whilst the first suit may not fit with the responding hand, it could be the second suit does. This is a typical example. An Akol Strong 2 opening could also be based on one long powerful suit, such as these examples. Two no trumps shows the weak hand, less than 7 points. All other responses are positive. 3 no trumps, 10 to 12 points. Balanced hand, no ace. Single raises in opener's suit. At least 3 card trump support, 7 points up, and at least 1 ace or void. Double raises in opener's suit. At least 3 card trump support, 8 to 10 points, but no ace or void. New suit at 2 level, 7 points up, biddable suit, and at least 1 honor trick. New suit at 3 level, 7 points up, biddable suit, 5 cards, and at least 1.5 honor tricks. We gave you the basic instruction on tape 1 for opening at 1 level. We also gave you details on the simple first round responses. But obviously, you will occasionally encounter stronger hands, falling outside the point limits given for the 1 level bids. The Akol system has developed the opening bidding, and of course the responses necessary to correctly handle these stronger hands that are too good to simply open at the 1 level. This is a typical example of an opening in 2 no trumps. We have explained the opening for 2 no trumps would need 20 to 22 points and a balanced hand, and almost certainly on the majority of occasions will have honors in all 4 suits. This point count applies whether vulnerable or not. As 26 combined high card points is considered enough to be bidding game in 3 no trumps, or at the 4 level in a major suit, you will appreciate, mathematically, that the responding hand does not need many points to reply. In fact, if the hand is flat and has 3 or less points, it is recommended you pass. It is stressed that 2 no trumps is not a forcing bid, and you can pass. All other Akol 2 level opening bids are forcing, and responder has to reply at least once. Here, however, you are allowed to pass, so do so. Opener may well be disappointed, but will probably be struggling to make even 8 tricks. Pass. With 4 or more points, responder will be bidding game. And since, as beginners, your object must be to make game rather than trying for slams, we do not intend to cover at this time in any detail the further bidding after the 2 no trump opening, except to simply advise, with a balanced hand, 3 no trumps is suggested. If you have a good major suit, bid it at the 3 level, and opener can then decide whether to move to game in no trumps or to the 4 level in the major suit. Later on the tape, we will be instructing you in the Stayman convention. And this convention you will find is often used in conjunction with 2 no trump openings. In Akol, the opening bid of 2 clubs is a convention, being reserved for showing an exceptionally strong hand, and one that cannot be accurately described by any other bid. A call two clubs tells everyone that you are holding the balance of the points, need little help from partner to get to game, and, with some reasonable support points in partner's hand, will be looking for a slam. The Acol 2 club bid, apart from showing 23 plus points, also has to meet the qualification of being able to take 5 quick tricks. 2 clubs. A quick trick being an ace as 1, ace and king as 2, and king and queen in same suit as 1. A typical 2 club opening hand will often look like this: 24 points and a balanced hand. Although on occasions it could well be 2 suited. 2 clubs. 20 points plus 3 for distribution. 2 clubs. Obviously, with all those points, you will also be expecting to take other tricks. But the 2 club opening is only a convention, showing at the outset your very strong hand, and it is the rebid that actually describes where your points are placed. Hence, the 2 club opening is unconditionally forcing to game with only one exception. That is when the rebid is 2 no trumps. In Acol, the opening bid of 2 clubs is a convention. On a 2 club opening, a response is demanded, and you will find on the majority of occasions you will not have enough points for a positive bid, at least 7 points being needed with an ace and a king. The rejection bid is again conventional, 2 diamonds. If partner now rebids 2 no trumps, he will be showing 23 or 24 points, which is the only bid you can pass below game level. You will appreciate that if opener had only 20 to 22 points, he would have opened 2 no trumps in the first place. You can see, as responder, you only need a couple of points to try for 3 no trumps. If partner answered your 2 diamond rejection with 3 no trumps, then he is showing 25 or 26 points, which obviously is a game bid, and you could pass. If you have the points for a positive response, show your suit, and remember, do not stop bidding below game level. Later, it will be slam level. As you will certainly want to make the best of these hands when they do arrive, you will use the Blackwood convention explained later in this tape. Before we take a new step and lead you into the world of bridge bidding conventions, we're going to play a hand to give you further examples of playing technique. This will show you the type of skill we would like you to reach after a few months with our series of Teach Yourself Bridge. You'll certainly never regret having learned bridge, only that you've not started to play sooner. This is your hand. You are the dealer and sitting south. Your side are vulnerable against east-west, who are not vulnerable. 10 high card points, and of course you pass. West passes. North, your partner opens 1 club. East, who is not vulnerable, decides to intervene and bids 1 spade. With your hand, you have to make a decision. Firstly, to double, which seems as if it could be profitable since you and your partner must have 23 points minimum, your 10 plus openers 13, against a maximum of 17 points with your opponents. The second option is to bid for the contract yourself. Your partnership is vulnerable. Your partner has opened showing 13, but he can have up to 19 points and still open 1 club. Let's be optimistic and hope for 15 points, plus your 10 points, making 25 points, enough to try for 3 no trumps once you have a little experience. If you could therefore encourage partner, and he did indeed have the 15 points, he would go to game at 3 no trumps. However, apart from showing the points, you also have to let him know that you have a good stop in the spade suit. As you passed originally, your partner does not guarantee a rebid, so your hand should be bid fully. West again passes, and partner North happy with the information received from you, does bid 3 no trumps. As you bid the no trumps first, you become declarer. West is therefore on lead, and having heard his partner intervene in spades, he leads spade. We now suggest that you stop the tape or freeze still this 4 hands presentation. For the sport, you play 3 no trumps. Or better still, on the table, prepare the hand as they are presented to you and play a practice game. See the result. -2 is acceptable for a beginner. -1 is good. Now let's see. The jack spade. 5 from dummy. East, seeing 10 on the table and holding good spades, honours himself, knows you must have the ace from your no trump bid. Yes, you take the trick with the ace. But no, no, no! You duck, namely, play a low card, deliberately losing the trick. You can see that with the 10 on the table in dummy, next time West leads a spade, you will play your 10 and the king or queen will have to be played by East. West now leads the 2 hearts. You play the ace. No, 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 the queen. You finesse. You know that if the king is in the West's hand, you win the trick, but if it's in the East hand, you lose it. Having at this stage still the stop in spade, you can take that risk. The finesse does not succeed. And East takes the trick and then leads back the king spades, which you take with the ace. Counting the winning tricks left, you must consider the prospect is not very good. You can make the ace of hearts, the ace of diamonds, and the ace of clubs. You can also now count the jack of hearts, and you can, having the opportunity to go back to the dummy hand twice, count 2 tricks in clubs, making a total of 7 tricks. You also know that if East takes back the hand at any stage, he will immediately play his 4 remaining spade winners, defeating the contract. You cannot at this stage afford to finesse again in diamonds. It did not work for the hearts, and if the king is with East, and it could well be, as it was his hand that had the points for the intervening bid, it could become a catastrophe. 3 down. Your plan is now to consider how to avoid letting East in. You play the 8 hearts to dummy ace. You play the queen of clubs, and you finesse against East, namely, forcing East to decide whether or not to play the king, assuming he had it. You will have also considered that if the king clubs is in West's hand, although you will lose the finesse, West cannot give the hand back to East. He has no spades to lead. If he plays a diamond, you will take it and make your clubs. If he plays clubs, you are helped directly, and if he plays hearts, he is also making the problem easier for you, as you will discover straight away where the 10 lies, and you will make 2 tricks in hearts, the 9 and the jack. So, the queen clubs holds the trick, East having guessed your intention and did not play the king. Now you continue the club suit by leading the jack, again intending to finesse. But no need, as East produces the king, and you win with the ace. You then play back to dummy with a small club to the 10. East discards a small diamond and will now be aware that your last two clubs in dummy are masters. And when these are played, you are squeezing East. Namely, you are embarrassing him by forcing him to find discards. Of course, he wants to keep his winning spades to make as soon as he takes the lead with his king of diamonds. But he has to keep a diamond to protect his king, just in case you play the ace first. When clubs are played from dummy, East discards two spades. You also have to discard from your hand. The 7 spades and 9 hearts are dangerous cards to keep if you have to play them at the end with the 10 hearts and queen spades still out. So, you discard these cards, 7 spades and 9 hearts. You now play the 7 hearts, coming back to your hand with a jack. Again, East is squeezed, and now, if you've counted the number of spades played and discarded, you will realize there is only one outstanding. And therefore you know that by now giving East the hand, by playing the 8 of spades, called exiting, he will then have to play back diamonds, thus establishing your queen and the ace without you having to take the risk of the finesse. This play forced East into an end play situation, making him lead towards your split honours, known as a 10-ace combination. So, by good planning, skill in playing technique, and by counting the cards as they are played, you have finished making an extra trick from a contract that looked rather dodgy. To be fair, we appreciate that seeing all the hands makes all the difference. It is easy to be critical after the event. We could say East was too greedy. Maybe he should have returned a small spade instead of his king. Or possibly, having overtaken the jack spades, played back a small club in an endeavour to block south. It could even be that he underestimated his opponent. This is one of the things to learn in bridge. Don't underrate your opponents. This hand will have shown you the need to think ahead and plan your play, always trying to place the likely position of the critical cards against you. Stayman Convention. Use of 2 clubs as fit-finding bid after 1 no-trumps opening. On the first tape, we cover the opening of 1 no-trump and the basic responses. Remember, the no-trump opening, the weak no-trump, showed the precise point range of 12 to 14 points, as well as a reasonably balanced hand. You recall the responses. Now, all of the responses given examples on the first tape were natural responses, meaning that when a suit was mentioned, the bidder was showing that as a bidding suit. Now we are advising you on the use of a convention, namely the use of an artificial bid, which we feel you will find most useful after a 1 no-trump opening. Stayman is a convention that originated in England, but was then developed in America and widely publicized by Samuel Stayman, and this convention has ever since been known as the Stayman. You recall we indicated that with few points you would pass unless you had a 6-card suit when you would sign off at the 2 level with a weakness takeout. We had also suggested that as you became more experienced, you would likely in fact also sign off with a 5-card suit in certain cases. With this type of hand, you will still use two diamonds, or two hearts and two spades if they happen to be the 6 or 5 card suits. For weakness takeout bids, but two clubs will now be reserved for Stayman. Now, responding two clubs after his one no-trump opening, however, is different, as you are now starting a discussion with partner. The object being to try and decide whether you will be best playing in a suit contract rather than in no trumps. Let us give you an example. Your partner has opened one no trump, and this is your hand. 12 points, and especially good in the major suits. 4 spades and 4 hearts. On the original chart, 11 or 12 points with a reasonable balanced hand. It was suggested to bid 2 no trumps. This would be encouraging your partner, who, with a maximum for his opening bid, would now raise you to 3 no trumps. But perhaps your partner is also weak in clubs. Your opponents could well run off the first 5 tricks for you to be down immediately. However, if you and your partner had been able to discover a good 4-4 fit in the major suit, the club shortages would have been to your advantage, possibly allowing you to get the 10 tricks needed for game. The 2 club Stayman is the asking bid, asking opener about his holding in the major suits, hearts and spades, and opener has to answer in accordance with a strict set of rules. With a few examples, you will soon see that the bidding is based on a lot of common sense, and the Stayman convention will often get you out of a difficult no-trump contracts and into the safer suit contracts. On your bid of a 2 club Stayman, firstly, if your partner does not hold 4 cards in either hearts or spades, his answer will be 2 diamonds. This 2 diamond bid is imperative, denying the 4 card holding, and is irrespective of the opener's holding in diamonds or his point count. The second option is that if opener holds 4 cards in one of the major suits, opener will bid that suit at the 2 level, namely 2 hearts or 2 spades. It is pointed out that this bid shows 4 cards in the suit, or occasionally 5, and is made regardless of the type of honours in the suit. The third option is if opener holds 4 cards in both the major suits. If so, opener is recommended to bid spades, 2 spades, and can, if necessary, bid the heart suit later. This, you will see, means that if opener answers the 2 club Stayman asking bid by rebidding 2 hearts, responder will appreciate that he cannot also hold 4 spade cards. However, if the Stayman answer was 2 spades, then it is still possible opener has 4 hearts as well. So, to recap, opener is given 3 simple basic options in his rebid after the Stayman 2 club. We must also stress that there is no limiting qualifications for responding 2 clubs to the no-trump opening, since even a pointless responding hand, a Yarborough, can use the 2 club Stayman bid, always assuming the responder can sensibly handle any rebid made by his partner. These 2 examples show what we mean. No points, but both hands could be, and in fact should be, responded with Stayman 2 clubs. On the first hand, you can handle any responses from partner simply passing any bid. If he bids the majors, you have a fit. If he bids 2 diamonds, you know he must have at least 2 diamonds on his initial bid, and you have arrived, in any event, at the weakness takeout. You could have bid in the first place. On the second hand, you hope he bids hearts or spades. If, however, it is 2 diamonds, again, you sign off in 2 spades. It has cost you nothing to try and see if there was a heart fit. This hand adds another dimension to the Stayman bids. This, as a responding hand, is effectively useless except if played with clubs as trumps, We have said that the one no-trump opening followed direct by 2 diamonds, 2 hearts, or 2 spades are weakness takeout bids, not to be moved. In this case, you cannot sign off with 2 clubs, as this is reserved for the Stayman convention. So, you bid 2 clubs, and regardless of the opener's rebid, you then bid 3 clubs. Your partner will appreciate that on this sequence of bidding, it was a weakness takeout. If you had wanted to show points and a club suit, you would have bid 3 clubs directly after his 1 no-trump opening. Yes, Stayman is a great convention, but must be used with discretion, since you must ensure you can handle any response correctly. For instance, as a last example at this time, bearing in mind there are many further extensions that we hope to bring to you in future, consider this responding hand after your partner has opened 1 no-trump. Good 4-card suits in both majors. But do not be misled and introduce Stayman, much as you may like to try and find a 4-4 major suit fit. Consider what happens if after your Stayman bid opener replies 2 diamonds, you cannot now adjust to 2 no-trumps, as this would indicate 11 or 12 points, and you only have 8 with this hand. If you did, it would again be invitational for partner to raise to 3 no-trumps, if maximum for his opening, and you could be several tricks down, trying for game with only 22 points between you. On this hand, you would pass. My logic bridge tip. Before using Stayman, consider how you will handle the reply. The last advice on this tape on Stayman bidding. Having used the Stayman asking bid, and now having received your partner's reply, it is up to you to decide on the final contract, as it is the responder's responsibility to decide whether to pass, or with sufficient points to further continue the bidding, inviting by bidding at the 3 level, or possibly to game level. We have not been covering slam bidding techniques on the tape so far, believing that as a beginner it is better you bid and make game contracts. However, it is possible that once in every 1,000 or so deals, you will be dealt a rock crusher of a hand. And just as important, your partner will also have a fistful of points. As you will then realize that your partnership have virtually all the points, it would be a pity not to capitalize on your good fortune. When you are playing at slam level, you will normally find that an important factor is being able to control the play, right from the first trick. Thus, it is important to control the suits, either by holding the aces, or alternatively, if you are playing in a suit contract, by having voids, which would allow you to trump in. Therefore, a major factor in being successful in bidding slams is to know whether your partnership actually have these controls. This is where the Blackwood convention comes in, a means of asking your partner firstly, how many aces do you hold? And, if necessary, continuing by asking, how many kings? Firstly, a little slam in no trumps. That means bidding 6 no trumps. Normally requires 33 high card points in the combined hands, with a grand slam generally being bid with 37 points. If bidding the slam in a suit contract, it is often achieved on less points, as more depends on the distribution, not just the high card points. The Blackwood convention is to use the bid 4 no trumps as an asking bid. After all, 4 no trumps is not likely to form any major part in the general everyday sequence of game bidding, which is almost certainly stopping on the majority of occasions at 3 no trumps, or at 4 hearts or 4 spades. Therefore, after any bidding sequence, when a player uses the 4 no trump bid, he is interrogating his partner and effectively takes charge of the rest of the bidding, determining the final contract. In each case, whether the bid is used by the original opener or by the responder, there is a standard procedure of answers to follow, and you should not deviate from the same. We state here there are actually several versions of Blackwood, but we're going to advise you on the original basic form, that will be understood by most, if not everyone, who plays any Blackwood system. The replies to Blackwood for no trumps are as shown in this chart. If the answer you receive to the 4 no trump bid is what you want to hear, probably that your partnership holds all 4 aces, you could then bid 5 no trumps, now asking for kings. The replies for kings are generally as for aces. Let us give 2 examples. Imagine a bidding sequence has taken place and your partner has now bid 4 no trumps. Blackwood, your reply has to be 5 hearts, showing partner that you have 2 aces. Now your partner bids 5 no trumps. This time your reply has to be 6 diamonds, showing 1 king. Second example. Again, partner bids 4 no trumps. This time with 1 ace you bid 5 diamonds. Then, to the 5 no trump bid, you show 3 kings by bidding 6 spades. Simple? Well, fairly, but a word of warning, particularly if it is likely you are looking for a slam in a minor suit. If after you have the bid Blackwood 4 no trumps, your partner gives you the response you've been looking for as regard the aces, and you now decide to ask for kings by continuing the bidding with the 5 no trump asking bid, remember, this will automatically push the bidding to the 6th level immediately, whatever the reply. Therefore, before you ask for kings, be sure that if you get the wrong answer, you will not be pushed past the suit in which you need to finish. Otherwise, you will have to go to the 7 level. The player who introduces the Blackwood 4 no trump asking bid takes over the auction and will determine the final contract. We have said that the tapes so far have worked on the basis that there are no intervening bids, and Maya Logic will have a further complete tape that will be dedicated purely to intervening, namely the bidding technique. That does, of course, form a major part of the game. However, we would like to briefly mention a convention that is used not only by the Acol system, but the majority of other acknowledged bridge systems as well, namely the takeout double. We say convention since, remember, a convention is any bid that does not actually mean what it states, and originally doubling was for penalties only, when one partnership considered the other had overreached themselves. The takeout double is when you double at the first opportunity after your opponents have opened the bidding, and, we repeat, it is not for penalties. Used in this way, it is an informative double and is intended for your partner to take out by bidding. Look at these examples. Imagine that the opponent to your right deals and opens 1 diamond. You will find that the Acol recommends that overcalling in a suit should show partner a 5-card reasonable suit, and you haven't got one. But in fact, you do have an opening hand, and would have opened had your opponent not got in first. Acol suggests that with a minimum of 12 high card points and a shortage in the suit opened by the opponents, the take-out double is preferable to bidding a suit when you want to ask your partner which suit he prefers. As your double says, you would be happy to play in any of the other 3 unbid suits. If after your take-out double, the opponent to your left bids, and your partner has little in the way of points, he can pass. But if there's no bid from the opponent, then the partner is obligated to bid, with the exception if it happens he has reasonable points and a killing holding in the opponent's opening suit, in which case he can pass because he wants to turn the takeout double into a penalty double. For example, with this hand, after the opponent has opened 1 diamond and you have double, a takeout double, he is obviously assuming your partnership will defeat the contract and score more points than bidding and trying to make a contract yourselves. Initially, you may have difficulties recognizing the opportunity to use the take-out double, but persevere. It will become a major part of your armory. As a beginner, we recommend that you basically respond to the take-out double on the same point count range as you would have done had your partner opened in the first place. After all, the double was declaring an opening hand. We have said, with one exception, you must respond. So, even with the poorest hand, you show your 4-card or better suit, and a major for preference. Having bid at the lowest level, it is unlikely that bidding will proceed further, as it will be appreciated that the opponents probably have a few more points than your side. With 6 to 9 points, you would have single raised your partner's opening suit bid. And since the double indicates the 3 unbid suits can be handled, you can bid at the 2 level in one of those suits. Similarly, with 10 to 12 points, you could double raise in one of the 3 suits. If you happen to have a balanced hand, you bid 1 no trump, showing the 6 to 9 points. Remember, you must have reasonable stops in the opponent's opening bid suit, particularly if you're sitting under the opening bid cards. Finally, you will sometimes find you would like to use this asking take-out double, but do not have a shortage in the suit opened. And if this is the case, Acol recommends that you compensate by having a few more points, namely 15. So, when using the take-out double, partner expects 12 points and a definite shortage, or 15 points if no shortage. We did indicate originally how to evaluate hands by high card points and extra for distribution. You may also recall we mentioned briefly on tape 1 that when you found a 4-4 fit in a suit, you would, when you got beyond the beginner stage, be encouraged to add further points in for shortages. We feel it would be worthwhile spending a few minutes now explaining this in more detail. For example, partner has opened 1 spade, and you hold. An 8-point hand plus 1 extra point for the 5-card suit. But Acol considers that you can revalue on the basis that once you have 4-card support for a suit bid by your partner, you can add extra points for voids, singletons, and doubletons. Voids add 3, singletons add 2, doubletons add 1. So this particular hand with a singleton club and 2 points, so the hand is now worth the original 8 high card plus 1 for 5 diamonds and 2 for the support points. Total 11 points. You will recall the chart for raising partner's opening suit. By adding support points, this means responder would double raise, as the hand is now in the 10 to 12 points range, rather than the 6 to 9 points single range category. So as soon as you feel confident in your play, start adding in the support points, but only when you have the known 4-4 fit. Well, we've come to the end of another Mile-Logic Teach Yourself Bridge session, and trust that you have again been able to follow all the detailed explanations, although perhaps not all on the one viewing. Remember, we have always anticipated that you would need to run and rerun the tape, with some sections being easily understood, but other parts of the tape needing to be reviewed several times. But you will find the effort is well worthwhile, remembering the time when you first used Stayman successfully and bid and made game with 1 over trick as a bonus. For your further enjoyment of the game, you could now ask for Mile-Logic's first exercise tape, which sets down a wide variety of hands for opening and responses, not only setting you a challenge of bidding, but also, when giving you the recommended answers, explaining in detail why you should be arriving at the bids. The opportunity is also used to give you further bridge hints. For example, you, having dealt and passed originally, your partner opens in a suit, and then you put in a jump raise in a new suit. A very useful and precise bid. But what does it mean? Well, it's all on the exercise tape, which you should enjoy. We've already mentioned that Mile-Logic are preparing a further series of tapes. The first in the new series will cover the competitive auction, which you will be involved in so many deals. Tapes will also continue with further bidding for openers and responders rebids, on improving your playing technique, and also giving you an introduction to duplicate, which you will find necessary when you join most bridge clubs. Once again, it has been a pleasure to join you on this Teach Yourself Bridge tape. And I now say goodbye on behalf of all the Mile Logic team.